question for all of you parents out there, and I want you to really think through this in your mind. What if your precious daughter, who you raised in a home that was just really typical, a healthy home, met an older boy when she was a senior in high school? What if this 20-year-old became her obsession and led your daughter down a dark, dark path until she ended up behind bars? Well, parents Alyssa and Steve say that's exactly what happened to their 21-year-old daughter, Paige, who has overdosed 16 times. She's now living in a motel, refuses to leave her addict boyfriend. They say Paige's boyfriend, Brandon, taught her to shoot black tar heroin when she was just 18 years old, and is the reason that she is a full-fledged addict now. Take a look.
Oh my God, there's so much pain.
Paige's boyfriend, Brandon, is the reason that she's a heroin addict. He was the first one to shoot her up.
Brandon's a chicken lowlife. To do that to another human being, it just infuriates me. It makes me want to rip his head off.
Paige has overdosed 16 times. One time, Paige's father walked in her room and found her slumped over, face down in the carpet.
We were trying to shake her and get her to come back around.
Brandon had been in her room and left once he knew that she was breathing and alive.
What kind of guy would shoot somebody up, walk away, and leave them?
After Paige got addicted to heroin,
Oh my God.
We're missing now.
things started to spin out of control. Paige has been arrested for possession of marijuana 2 times. She's had a DUI. Paige has been arrested for having drug paraphernalia. Paige and Brandon were arrested for burglary of a pizza delivery guy.
My daughter is currently living in a motel with Brandon and another young lady that used to be Brandon's girlfriend.
No one should be living the way she's living.
Brandon is a bastard. I'd like to throttle and kick his ass.
Well, Lisa and Steve say their worst nightmare has come true because no matter what they've tried to do to break these two up, their daughter Paige goes back to wasting her life away with a boy they call a con man, loser, and a bastard.
It has been impossible for Steve and I to get Paige to break up with Brandon, but Paige is blinded by love.
He's been a devil. He's verbally abusive and has been physically abusive.
He has shoved her, thrown things at her.
Brandon and Paige have fought over using dope.
Brandon has broken Paige's arm over a shot of heroin.
That just really amps me up. I just want to choke him out.
If Paige is going to be clean, it's imperative that Brandon be out of the picture once and for all.
I've had you sequestered backstage because there are some things that I didn't want you to see yet that I'm going to have you see in a bit. I need to kind of qualify a few things here. How serious is this in y'all's mind?
It's dire. Dire.
Yeah.
She's dying.
It's just a matter of time you get a phone call.
Yeah.
The phone call.
You're really at that point because I get glimpses that you're at that spot and then I get glimpses that you're not. And I want to know what I'm dealing with here because we're getting ready to talk to your daughter here in a bit. In fact, we're getting ready to talk to this young man that you say is a no-good rat bastard that has got her involved in all of this stuff.
Well, he's the one who shot her up for the first time.
And you don't think much of him?
No, not at all.
How do you feel about him?
Shooting your daughter up with heroin. I mean, I just want to throttle him.
A couple of days later, when she's calling him not feeling well, trying to figure out what's going on, and oh, by the way, I didn't tell you, you're going to have to do this every day, or you'll be sick. Who does that?
You've written me several emails, right?
I have.
And
I have.
the most recent one certainly caught my eye. Dr. Phil, I'm writing to you again, not sure if you're even reading these letters, but I can't stop looking for my daughter in the dark. I feel her situation is hopeless and dire. It doesn't seem to matter how many times that she goes to treatment or detox or sober living, the wheels continually come off. Clearly, her father and I have not done our part well enough and are in over our heads. I would do whatever it takes to help her, but I don't know how to get her to want to help herself. When I read that, I think you get it pretty much. Do you get it?
Do I get it? Do I look like I get it?
You don't act like you get it, to tell you the truth, because I hear you say things, but one thing that worries me is when I start hearing rehab speak, and one of the things you said that just got all over me is, I'm just not sure she's hit rock bottom yet. She's OD'd 16 times.
Well, that's right, and we've gone...
She's whoring herself on a sugar daddy website.
Well, that's new
She
stuff.
is stealing from her own family.
I know.
What do you need to see before you say, okay, it's time to get real about this?
Okay, I don't understand what you mean by real about this. Not going to the police dozens of times, talking to DEAs, undercover people.
Steve, come on. This last weekend, she took her food and supplies to the motel.
I agree, and I agree that we had an agreement.
You asked the question, that's the answer.
You're absolutely right.
What do I mean? That's what I mean.
Dr. Phil, it's hard trying to separate your heart.
Yeah, one of the hardest things...
You know, wanting to save your daughter's life.
You want to talk hard? I've spoken at your daughter's funeral.
I don't...
I've spoken at your daughter's funeral because the parents couldn't find the words. That's what's hard. We're talking about your daughter's life. Let's stop using buzzwords and phrases we don't really understand. The reason that this hasn't worked so far is because you haven't manned up. You've got to man up here. I'm getting ready to jerk a knot in that boy's tail, and I'm getting ready to do the same thing with your daughter. But I'm telling you, look at me, Dad.
I'm listening.
Dad to dad. I've got your back here, but you got to have mine.
I do.
Okay?
I do.
All right. Are you in this with me?
I am.
We're going to take a break. Paige is here. She has been brutally honest with us about her drug-fueled life, and later we're going to find out why Brandon says Paige's parents should be happy that she's with him. They actually let us spend the day with them. Let me warn you, this is not pretty. You ready to look at this?
No.
And later...
You don't sound like somebody who won't tell. All these people can see it on the video.
They edit out what they want to put on there.
Oh, you just threw rocks at my staff, and I'm throwing the black girl. You got a camera on you, so fill in the blanks.
Tomorrow, he was making millions, but now...
He lives in his parents' garage.
He doesn't have a job.
He's working, and you're not?
But what he does have...
Give us some space so we can get the job done and get out of your house.
You sleep all day.
...is an attitude.
You had a chip on your shoulder since you got here. Get over yourself.
Tomorrow. Then on Monday, the Vanderbilt football player...
You guys...
I was drunk out of my mind. I just couldn't believe it was me.
The exclusive prison interview.
When you woke up the next morning, what did you remember?
That's Monday.
Today at 5, massive cyber attack.
For 3.5 years. Not until I met Brandon was I introduced to black tar heroin. Most of the time, Brandon and I get high together. Brandon is, I guess you would call it, the breadwinner. Brandon's charismatic and he's funny and he likes to charm the crowd. Brandon is extremely supportive of me. He's my best friend. I love him.
Alyssa wrote in for help because her 21-year-old daughter Paige is a full-fledged heroin addict who injects black tar heroin daily after being introduced to it in high school by her addict boyfriend, Brandon. Paige and her boyfriend have been living in a motel for the last 4 months. They're shooting up 3 to 6 times a day, depending on what they can all afford. They actually let us spend the day with them. And let me warn you, this is not pretty. Paige's parents have never seen their daughter using. You ready to look at this?
No.
here it is anyway.
Currently, Brandon and I are staying in a hotel room. Been staying there for about 4 or 5 months.
The last time that we used anything was like 4 in the morning. So I mean, cravings and thinking about it, that really comes after just a few hours.
Without a doubt, I am absolutely a heroin addict.
I think I'm gonna get high, so that's what I think we're gonna do now.
On the bad days, 1 time a day if I could, to 4, 5, 6 times a day.
This is like $40.
I liked heroin because it's the ultimate chill. Throughout my life, I've smoked pot, taken lots of ecstasy, shrooms, Xanax. Come on, back.
You can deal with the pain. Let's do it slow.
Can you just shut?
Whoa.
Okay, stop. Damn, I got lucky. Here, good luck. First try. Yeah, I feel ready for the day.
Yeah, so
calmer. I just feel normal.
Like about 3 weeks or a month's worth of needles, probably like 400, 500 needles in there.
24 hours without being able to get high looks like complete physical illness, sweating, nauseous, diarrhea, vomiting.
God. So I instantly feel better. It's just like takes away every care in the world.
Tell me your reaction to that.
I'm horrified. She got in the car one time and it looked like she had mosquito bites. She'd been trying to shoot up in her face, shooting up in her neck.
I just want to kick his ass is what I really want to do.
What's your reaction to seeing your baby doing this?
It breaks my heart because I cannot comprehend. I've never seen any of this. You know, I've never been around, you know, drugs. I've never seen heroin.
At this point in our field shoot, it was only about noon, and Brandon realizes he's out of heroin. The next chunk of his day will be spent figuring out how to score more and how to pay for it. Let's look at the rest of their day.
I'm gonna go sell some jewelry and make some money. Let's go. Yeah.
We wake up and we don't have dope, so we're immediately calling who we can, trying to figure out if he can get a ride to go to the store to get money.
It's just 14-karat gold, necklaces, charms, a little bit of sterling silver. I don't know how much I'm going to get. I'm going to do what I can to get money for it, so I'm going to run in here real quick. $200 payoff that I had no idea whether that was even real or not. So that's how that happens, and now my day just turned so positive. And we're going to go do what we do now. So
the time and effort that we put into staying well, it can be an all-day chaotic spree.
Is it the same from last night? I'm gonna get 2 G's from you, so let me spend 180. All right, bud. Okay, let's go.
We just got back from scoring with the money I got from selling the jewelry I got today, and I spent $160 and those 2 grams of black tar heroin. This might last us through the rest of the day. I mean, maybe 10, 12 more hours.
Paige, it's good to meet you. I've been talking to your parents, and they have watched this day in the life video that we shot. So for the first time, they've watched you sitting in a dingy motel room trying to find a vein and get a needle up in your arm so you could shoot drugs
Correct.
up into it. How do you feel about that?
It's disappointing. It's embarrassing.
Why?
Makes me feel sad.
Why?
Because they're my parents and my mom's my best friend. Just
It's sad. It makes me feel sad.
You guys went out and found some jewelry and sold it, right?
Correct.
Where'd you find it?
Brandon found it.
So somebody who owned jewelry, like a watch or something, is that watch is now in your arm.
Yeah, if he's around, you better keep an eye on your watch. That's what I hear.
Has he stolen from your parents?
Yes.
But you're a thief too, right?
I have stolen before. Yes.
So you're a thief.
Yes.
You've got a burglary conviction
Correct.
and a DUI
Correct.
and drug convictions. You stole a pizza guy's wallet.
Yes, I was there.
How long since you shot up last? How many hours?
Before we got on the plane yesterday, so
And you've had Suboxone since then, right?
yeah, last night and this morning.
Well, we're going to meet Paige's boyfriend, Brandon. The last time Dad saw him was 2 years ago. Brandon says he's gotten a bad rap in all of this, so we're going to find out why he says he's actually Paige's protector, not her enabler. We're going to talk about that when we come back.
My role, as far as myself and Paige is concerned, I'm in charge. I decide how much we're going to do, how much money we're going to spend. I look out for this girl.
Your sister lived in the woods because you say she wanted you to think she was dead.
We can't sleep at night. We can't function.
My life right now is working okay.
You're paying a guy to choke you to death in the woods. That's not working. She's posting that you killed your own baby.
Watch your mouth, okay?
Hey, don't talk to me like that.
Excuse me? We almost got fired from our jobs because of what you posted.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Plus, exes at war,
He says you are keeping his children from him.
fighting each other,
He was kicked out after he threw me through the wall.
You pushed me, I pushed you back.
You grabbed my throat, and then I grabbed
I
your
didn't
throat.
grab your throat.
and fighting for custody.
You did coke while you were with her?
Yes, sir. After the kids were put to bed.
It all happens
What if this is a changing day in your life?
this February on Dr. Phil.
The appearance, her legs are bruised up, her face is broken out, so she's not full of life. She's a gregarious girl underneath, and all of that has been dulled down by the heroin addiction. I feel so afraid to let her go because I know she'll die.
Well, I'm here with Alyssa and Steve, who say they've had enough of their daughter Paige's drug-using life. They blame her boyfriend of 3 years, Brandon, for teaching Paige how to shoot up. Brandon tells a very different story. He says Paige pursued him because of his reputation with drugs and asked him for the lesson on how to shoot up.
My role, as far as myself and Paige is concerned, I'm in charge. I decide how much we're going to do, how much money we're going to spend. I did not introduce her to the drug at all. In the course of a week, to support mine and Paige's addiction, we would spend anywhere from $500 to $800. Absolutely, I'm protective of Paige. I look out for this girl. I make sure she has a place to lay her head at night, somewhere to shower, something to eat. I want Paige's parents to know that if it weren't for me, she would most likely be in a worse situation.
Well, interesting point of view. Brandon is here. You've not seen him for a couple of years, right?
No, that's the only time I've seen him.
Yeah, all right. Well, we're going to bring him out here. We're going to have a conversation, but we're not going to get physical here. We're going to, you can say anything you want, but I want you to remain in your chair, and we're going to have a conversation here. Do I have your commitment that we're going to do that? Well, I do or I don't.
Yeah, you do. You do.
So, Brandon, come on out. Brandon, Dr. Phil, have a seat. So, Brandon, you are a 10-year heroin addict, correct?
Yes, sir.
You are a thief and a criminal.
There's no other way to put it, I suppose.
You're a thief and a criminal.
I understand.
You steal stuff that don't belong to you, things that people work for to earn.
Yes, sir.
You go take what isn't yours when their back is turned, and then you go sell it to some other criminal, and then you get the money, and then you go buy drugs from another criminal, and then you use those drugs, which is another crime. So you generally would commit multiple crimes every day.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you do it with these people's daughter, so they don't have much of a high opinion of you, and certainly don't see you as a protector.
Absolutely not.
Well, let me just ask just a base question, and this is a truth test. If both of you were desperate for a fix and starting to get really sick, and there was one there, and you both needed it, you would push her out of the way to get it, would you not?
Not now in this time, but I have done that before.
I hear a very different story.
What do you mean not at this time? But I have done it before.
I've done that in the past, but at this point, it's not really much of a relationship, but in our dealings with one another and being around each other, I would make sure that she has something to where she's at least not sick. I'm never going to leave her completely dry, sick, at all.
Especially since you're the one who shot her up for the first time. So you're just trying to be fair about it, huh?
We actually have Brandon on tape during a phone interview telling a producer that Paige was no rookie to drugs. Take a listen to this.
Whenever we first met, I guess the reputation, she was asking me about, about heroin, and she definitely wasn't a rookie when I met her. She was a pothead when I met her. She used to take ecstasy on a normal basis. She had done, mushrooms, everything like that.
So you were doing a lot of things. You started when you were 15, right?
Correct.
Now, are you under the illusion that he's in love with you?
I do believe it. I do know that we love each other. I know that I love him.
Okay.
That's how I can answer that question.
But you're honest to say you're not in love with her, right?
I'm not going to say that I do not love Paige by any means. Those words will not come out of my mouth. I've spent the last few years that we've been around one another dealing with everything that I've gotten her into, and if I would have never met her, I'm sure her life would be 100 times better.
Do you think he loves you?
I do. I know our lifestyle and it looks distorted looking in on it.
Paige,
but
be honest.
I am.
I was led to believe that these guys were prepared to be honest and were ready to get some help. I am now convinced that is not the case. Brandon and Paige say their biggest fight is over dope. They also disagree on whose idea it was to post Paige's profile on a sugar daddy website to earn extra cash. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Brandon gets Paige to do things she ordinarily wouldn't do in order to get money to fund her drug habit. Paige turned to a sugar daddy website.
I started chatting with this older man that lived in Colorado. He ended up sending me $1,200.
I was horrified.
Monday on an all-new Dr. Phil. The Vanderbilt football player.
You guys tried to cover this up.
Found sexual assault.
I was drunk out of my mind. I just couldn't believe it was me.
But it was you.
The shocking video.
I look at what happened to that girl and your conduct on that page. What the hell were you thinking?
The exclusive prison interview.
When you woke up the next morning, what did you remember?
That's Monday.
Closed captioning provided by...
In the past, Brandon has stolen from me. He's stolen dope or money.
In terms of legal activity, nothing more serious than stealing DVDs from a grocery store.
one time I was in jail, it was because he decided to break into a pizza delivery guy's car. I was the lookout.
I don't break into people's homes in the middle of the night. I'm not a robber. You know, I don't do things like that.
Paige's mother told us about a sugar daddy website that her daughter used to make some extra cash.
Brandon gets Paige to do things she ordinarily wouldn't do by threatening to withhold drugs from her in order to get money to fund her drug habit. Paige turned to a sugar daddy website.
She came to me and she said, you know, it's something that I could do to pull my weight.
So got online, made my little profile, and in the beginning, I would say it was rather successful.
We signed her up and started talking to this guy. Within the first hour of talking to him, he sent a $200 money order.
I started chatting with this older man that lived in Colorado. It was nothing sexual. He ended up sending me $1,200 without ever meeting him.
She told me one of the gentlemen from out of state came and took her to dinner, and then he dropped her back at the hotel room. When Paige told me, I was horrified.
As a father, it's very frustrating to know that my daughter is choosing to live this lifestyle.
It's a parent's worst nightmare.
And the thing about it is, when I watch that, it's like it's a freaking badge of honor. You know, like he said, do you get it? Do you want help? I mean, I sit there and look at you, and when I know, but you know, it's one thing when you talk to her, but then you go right back doing the same old thing. You don't sound like somebody who wants help. You know, you want to beat your chest like a gangster.
How?
That's not my,
How?
You can see it on the video.
Like I don't want
All these people can see it on the video.
They edit out what they want to put on there.
Oh.
You didn't see it all.
If something was taken out that puts you selling yourself on that website in a better light, fill it in now, and I promise whatever you say right now will stay in this show. So just light it up, girl. Put in whatever was taken out that you think makes you look better.
I'm not saying that, but
light it up. Get a close up. Get a close up. Yep. Get a close up. This is your moment right now. You are full frame right now. Light it up, girl. Just put it in. See yourself? Right there. There you are. Whatever we took out, you put right back in right now. Fix it all right now. Floor is yours.
I'm just saying, how does it look like?
No. Whoa.
No, what I'm saying.
Don't talk to him. You're talking to me. You just said we edited that tape to make it look like we wanted to. You just threw rocks at my staff, and I'm throwing the flag, girl. You got a camera on you, so fill in the blanks. Let me tell you, we don't have to edit you. You are a train wreck rolling. We don't have to fix anything. So you fill in the blanks. What was taken out that you want in? Put it in right now. Floor is yours.
He
Go.
said that it seems like I don't want help. He hasn't seen all that they filmed, all that I said. That's what I'm saying.
Put it in. So what did they take out that you think makes him feel better? Red lights rolling. Go.
It's not a joke, and I don't wear it like a badge of honor. You think I want to go do stuff like that? Ever?
Well, you know, I really, really do.
So apparently you have nothing to add.
Then I guess what I said before you got all riled up was misinterpreted. Not that your staff is trying to make me look bad, but he hasn't heard it all. I'm not proud of any of that. At all.
If you really want it, you tell this guy, you know, to hit the road. It may not be 100% him. You know, it's a lot of, you've got to put it back on yourself why you end up back with this thing, you know? I mean, seriously, I mean, we can only do so much. And if deep down inside, it's not what you want, and he's not going to give it to you because, listen, he's struggling with his own crap. You know, and we keep pulling you out and keep trying to do this and doing the best we can, and people directing us in certain directions, and you end up right back. And the part about beating your chest, you do. The way you talk, the way you interact on Facebook. I don't know that girl. I don't. I'm telling you, I love you, but it's embarrassing as all get out. I lose my mind. I'm like, where did my page go?
I can't stand seeing her parents feeling like this. I've never seen it up close and personal like this. Her being around me is 100% the reason why she is the way she is today.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil. From living large to living in his parents' garage.
You're not working.
I'm on unemployment.
You sleep all day.
He's working and you're not? What is wrong with you people?
That's tomorrow.
Closed captioning provided by
Artemi.
Where are your parents? You have a relationship with them?
Yes, sir.
So what do your parents think about what you're doing?
They cannot stand what I'm doing.
And are they know you're here?
Yes, sir.
But they didn't come here. They're not. They want you to get help. Do they care
Absolutely.
whether you get help? Have they written you off? Are they done? What?
They absolutely want me to get help. But they've paid for me to go to treatment over 4 times now.
And you just blow it off. Yeah.
It's not that I just blow it off. I feel in the moment that I'm ready or that I want to go, but I don't know what it is that exactly clicks on later on.
When did you start doing drugs?
I was right about 16 years old, turning 15 to 16.
And do you have education?
Yes, sir.
High school?
Some college.
I'm sorry?
Some college.
And have you ever held a job?
Yes, sir. Not for any longer than a year, but...
Do you care whether she gets healthy or not?
Absolutely. If it takes me running away this very moment and never speaking to her again, I want her to leave with her parents and go get help and don't ever speak to me again if it takes her succeeding, because at this point that's what I want for her. I can't stand seeing her parents feeling like this. I've never seen it up close and personal like this. We don't have a relationship. So they care for this girl more than you could imagine. Right now I'm seeing it firsthand. I want her to be able to take the steps necessary to hopefully get her life in order, and being anywhere near me is not going to get that accomplished. I see that firsthand now. I don't know why I've been so blinded in the past. Her being around me is 100% the reason why she is the way she is today.
And you get that if she leaves here and continues to be in any kind of contact with you, that her chance of getting clean and sober is 0, and your chance of getting clean and sober is 0. You realize 2 addicts running together, that's not additive, that's multiplicative. I mean, it's,
absolutely.
You know, it just gets worse and worse and worse. You play off each other, you trigger each other.
Exactly.
And you have to understand, if he cares about you at all, he will tell you straight up what he is just discovering at this point, and that is that you need to get out of his life and never see him again, ever, for the rest of his life. Love him, don't love him, do whatever. You cannot see him and live. It is just that simple. And if he cares about you, he will make certain that that happens. That would be showing you love. Not taking you into a dingy motel room and sharing drugs with you.
Makes sense?
That's not loving you. That is destroying you. We're going to take a break, and I've got some questions for everybody here when we get back. Here's the deal. This little Bonnie and Clyde act needs to be busted up. I absolutely, unequivocally will not help you as a couple.
I understand.
I will help you. I will help you only if you are willing to look me in the eye and her in the eye and say, I'm done. This is done.
Okay. I'm done. This is done. I have to save myself, and so do you.
You stand up right here. You stand up right here. I want you to look her in the eye. And I want you to look him in the eye, and don't look away. And I want you to take this moment, because I want you to realize, in my world, you're not ever going to see him again. Ever. And I want you to look her in the eye and say, he's telling you the truth. From my heart, I'm telling you, I'm done. We are breaking up. We are done. I am making a choice to save myself and saying goodbye to you. We're finished.
This is not for these cameras. This is not for your parents or these people. This can't go on. You have a life to live, and I'm not going to be a part of it, because it won't be successful.
Say, I am sorry for the role I have played in your life.
100%, I apologize for the role, and I'm so sorry from the bottom of my heart for the person that I have become in your life. Someone that is supposed to be, from the standpoint of love, somebody's supposed to be a caregiver, a protector, like your mom said. I haven't played any of those roles in your life. All I've done is hurt you, beat you down. I'm sorry. I told you this is probably how it was going to have to be.
I want you to look that man in the eye and tell him, I am sorry for the role I played in your daughter's life.
I'm sorry for the role I played in Paige's life. I never wanted any of this to be anywhere the way it is today. I apologize for what I've done to you, to your wife, and your daughter, and any impact I've played in your son's life.
Tell them you will never see me again.
You will never, ever have to see me again. At this day forward, you will never have to see me ever again. Hopefully you'll never even have to hear my name uttered from her mouth. I can give you my word on that.
I'm going to get you some serious help. Just walk right down that runway right there. So what happens with Paige? She's been thrown out of rehab. She's failed at detox. She's failed at sober living. Something has to happen to change the trajectory here. We'll be right back. Closed captioning provided by relationships, parenting, finances, and more. Plus, weigh in on your favorite episodes, share your stories, and find support in the Dr. Phil community. When you sign up for the community, you will automatically be subscribed to the Dr. Phil Show newsletter. Log on to drphil.com today. There is a place in South Padre Island called Hannah's House, and it's an exclusive facility that maintains an entirely female staff of addiction professionals. And Robert Park is here. He's the Executive Vice President and Executive Director of Origins Behavioral Health Care. And Robert, thank you for being here, by the way.
Good to be here.
I think what has to happen here is she needs to go into this multi-dimensional program. I don't know how long she's going to be there because these folks work to criteria. And then she's going to transition into a second phase and then a third phase to the point that she gets to be a fully functioning person occupationally, educationally, and they're going different places and they're not going to know where each other is. You couldn't find a boy if you wanted to, and don't try. How do you feel about that?
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
You're going to do this, right?
Yes.
Because let me tell you, it's a lot nicer than the life you're living now.
Yeah.
Your mother wrote very eloquently, "My daughter is lost in the dark, and she's never stopped coming for you. And you have been found. And Robert Park and his staff are going to take you from here to there. And I want you to lean into this. Fair enough? Deal?
Deal.
Deal? All right, I want to thank all of my guests, and a special thanks to Robert Park and Origins Behavioral Health Care. We will see you next time.